keeps the soul steadfast and sure while the billows roll. Fastened to the rock which cannot move, grounded firm and deep in the Savior's love. We have an anchor that keeps the soul steadfast and sure while the billows roll. Fastened to the rock which cannot move, grounded firm and deep in the Savior's love.
Let's try the first verse. Will you anchor?
Will your anchor in the storms of life, when the clouds unfold their wings of strife, when the strong tides lift and the cables strain, will your anchor drift or firm remain?
We have an anchor.
We have anchor that keeps the soul steadfast and sure while the billows roll. Fastened to the rock which cannot move, grounded firm and deep in the Savior's love.
Oh, good evening, welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Fox, here on the show this evening, paying tribute to one and only Walter Smith, as my mate Bridgeman. Evening, Bridge.
Evening, Oxter. Sad evening.
Yeah, the term legend is used a lot in modern society, but I think first and foremost, all our condolences go to Walter's family, his wife Ethel, his sons Neil and Stephen, and all his grandkids. First and foremost in life, you're a family man, and Walter was a family man, a gentleman, and then he became a Ranger, born a Ranger, became a Ranger as a manager, and an absolute gentleman. I had the pleasure of meeting him on many occasions, and always found him to be an absolute top bloke, humble, and it was with sadness we all started getting messages today. Bridgeman, over to you, mate.
Yeah, look, Walter Smith, when long time ago when he joined with Rangers with Graham Souness, I really thought, is this the guy for us? I was slight doubts as to whether he'd be a great manager or a good enough manager for us. And, I'd have to be honest and say, goodness sake, within a season, he had changed my mind completely. And he was the man. Top man for Rangers. And when he left the first time, I was sad. And then when he came back, I was also glad. And now, he finishes up and, he's never left us. He's always been with Rangers in his heart. And you get fill up when you start talking about him. The guy was just magic for us, just utterly magic. And I can't say enough. I don't want to say too much. It'll spoil anything. I'm just going to say, R.I.P. Walter. You were great.
Here, mate. Here. That, I mean, sometimes a few words mean a lot more than a lot of words. We're going to bring people into the show. We've been joined by a lot of the guys who present the show tonight, and everybody's quite emotional. First and foremost, we've been joined by Big Stevie. Evening, big man. How are we doing?
How we doing, Rockstar? All right. I've been fighting the tears back all day, sitting here watching all the tributes coming in, and oh man, I've really been shattered sitting watching that. I really have all day. Absolutely, I'd like to come on and try and light the situation, but I just can't find a way to do it today. You know, I think. There you go, Ox.
No, nothing wrong with that, mate. Nothing wrong with that at all. No.
I think look, you're going to hear the word gentleman. You know, I don't know how many times legend, all these words, you know. And I think what sums it up for me is when I heard a boy saying, "There's Stephen Gerrard and Graham Souness with the Rangers manager." You know, that just sums it up for me. You know, there's Stevie Gerrard and Graham Souness with the Rangers manager. You know, that's how highly. You know, and just. The tributes have been unreal. He's just a right good human being. And by the way, I'm proud to support the Rangers and went on a journey with him. Absolutely fantastic. But sorry if I get a wee bit emotional tonight, Ox, you know. Feeling it. I really am feeling it.
I'll say it again, nothing wrong with that. Your generation, you grew up with Walter Smith being involved with our club, you know, and but it was look, mate, you're emotional. There's nothing wrong with that. We've also been joined with GFK. Evening, GFK.
How you doing, guys? Very, very sad day, indeed. Like yourself, Ox, here, I met Walter many occasions. A very humble man. If you'll let me just tell a wee story, and I think it's a place that you were at. It was in 1993-94.
He turned up with his wife.
Ardery Street Masonic. We made Mark Haitley our Player of the Year that night, and Walter turned up. I was a secretary of the club, and when I was summoned to the door, you couldn't get my head out the door. He came and asked for me specially, shook my hand. Jimmy Miller, first thing he says to me, Jimmy Miller was one of my favourite Rangers players growing up to see Rangers. But on that night, Walter stayed right to the very end. He done a lot of presentations and things like that. But I managed to sit down with him for 15 minutes. And it was the most wonderful experience I had as a young man supporting the Rangers and sitting. He had a lot of time for me. He sat with me and my wife and we chatted with Rab Courtney and his wife. And we sat there and it was actually wonderful to sit and talk to him. What an honourable man, but a very humble man. And anybody who's actually sat and talked to Walter Smith, it's not just about Rangers. He's a very approachable person, and he had a lot of time for everybody, and especially if you're a Rangers fan. So it's a very sad day. I watched various things a day and listen to you guys. I'm choking up here now, but yeah, sad day.
We've also been joined by your GB. Well, one comes into the world and one leaves at GB, but how are you, mate?
Well, Oxy, like you says, mate, you touched on it, that one brilliant bit of news, and then you hear this today. You're talking about legend. For me, he was a hero. He was the man that brought me into Rangers, really, mate. It was I was an 11-year-old boy, lucky enough to be sitting watching them lift nine in a row at that time, and that really kick-started my kind of Rangers journey. And in a way, I was so glad that he came back to the club, because I was able to enjoy him as a man. Watching him come back and win his mere titles. The tributes have been amazing. I just think there's got to be more. I mean, I really hope the club are thinking on their feet with it as well, because this man is. They talk about Bill Struth, but for me, he's definitely he's my Rangers manager, mate.
different times. Hero, obviously, his longevity it wasn't as much as Mr. Struth, but what he done in the modern era is unsurpassed. We've been joined by Jaffa. Evening, Jaffa. How you doing, Mucker?
Hi, Ox. How you doing, mate?
All right, mate. Aye, all right.
Sad day. Sad day for our club and for our family, our Rangers family. And Walter Smith, just a hero. Just like when GB just said there and the lads before me. Devastated, Ox, and really, really sad. Really sad, mate.
I think we're all feeling it. It's a strange game, this football. We've also been joined by my mucker, Southside. Evening, Southside. How we doing, mate?
How you doing, pal? Aye, sad news, mate. Sad news today. Aye, just what a lot of the boys have said there, just touching on it. A legend of a manager, steeped in Rangers history, supporter growing up. Wasn't the most gifted football player, he'll admitted himself. But he got took to Ibrox when Graham Souness took over, and the rest is history. As we've seen what he done with the club after Graham left. David Murray had the confidence to give him the job. Other people were touted at the time, if you remember, Ox, you know.
Aye, I do, aye.
Aye.
Souness never signing, mate?
I probably, when you look at obviously what he went on and done when he was getting the job, and created the history for us to get us to the 9 in a row, you know, huge pressure as well at that time, probably going on and doing it. What obviously got us Paul Gascoigne and worked with him and Brian Laudrup and such. But no, to achieve what he done, and then obviously he left and took over at Scotland and Everton and stuff, and then come back to the Glasgow Rangers when we needed them, you know. Mm-hmm. And he come back and brought us success again, you know. So I was doing at Ibrox today. There's quite a lot of people milling about down there.
I think that'll just get bigger and bigger, mate. Obviously.
Aye, and obviously with the game tomorrow night, it'll obviously swell with a lot more people getting done. But aye, mate.
Win it for Walter. Win the game. Win
That's
the league.
it, mate.
Win it for Walter. Win it for Walter. Yeah.
Yep, mate.
Well, we've also been joined by Rudy Bear. Evening, Rudy. I know you.
Evening, Ox.
You've been busy dealing with some personal stuff. Great to hear from you again, mate. How you doing?
Thanks very much. I'm good, thanks, Ox. I felt I got a text from my mate this morning, and with a picture of Walter, and it said RIP underneath it, and I just felt this thing in the pit of my stomach, like this empty space, Ox. So I'd sit and think for a minute, what is this? What's happening here, you know? And it wasn't until I started to sort of look at social media and stuff like that, I saw what had happened. It kind of got out of my mind a wee bit in the last few weeks about Walter, because things had went fairly quiet about his illness and stuff. So it wasn't something that was in my mind until, you know, it kind of hit me like a bolt out of the blue the day when when I got the text off him, and then started to get messages from people and stuff like that as well, and saw what I saw on social media and all that, you know. And I think it was you that said it, Ox, that, you know, the term legendary status is too often bandied about with people that don't really deserve it, Ox. But you certainly couldn't include Walter Smith in that. If anybody at Rangers deserved that status, it was certainly Walter Smith. I had my doubts away at the beginning. You know, when Walter Smith took over for Graham Souness, I couldn't really see that Walter would be able to go ahead and do the job that he ended up doing in his first spell. But boy, did he prove me wrong, Ox. 7 titles, 3 Scottish Cups and 3 League Cups in his first stint as Rangers manager. And yeah, it's been a pretty emotional day. Like most of the guys have been saying, I've been, like Stevie was saying, and Jimmy and that, I've been watching the tributes. You know, I was watching earlier on, watched Ali on Talk Sport and stuff like that, and he's sitting there with a big lump in my throat, you know, and thinking...
I'm glad you mentioned that, mate, because I'll tell you what we're going to do now. We're going to hear from another legend. And we're going to hear from Alistair Murdoch McCoist.
Jimmy was everything to a lot of folk, myself included. He was my boss, he was my coach, he was my second father. And then he turned into one of my best friends, to be honest with you, Jim. And the loss is absolutely incredible to tell the truth. However, the good thing is he's not in pain, you know, because we went to see Walter recently and we spoke to Walter on Saturday, was going to go and see him on Sunday, clearly was too unwell. And we knew that sadly there's a inevitability about this horrible illness, and we did know that it would be only a matter of time. However, it still does not take away the pain or the grief. And at this moment in time, all I can think about is Ethel, Neil and Stephen, you know, and those grandkids. You know, all Walter would have wanted was another few years to go and watch those grandkids playing football and spend a lot of time with Jessica and them all. And sadly, that's the most painful thing for me right now. I mean, I could sit here and tell you about Walter Smith till the cows come home, about how good a manager, how good a coach, how good a football man he was. But I think it's only fair to say, I think I can safely say he was probably the best husband, the best father, the best friend, everything you'd expect in a man. And it's a tragedy. I can't tell you how devastated, absolutely devastated. He's the best, wasn't he? I mean, by some considerable distance, you know, for me. You know, I was lucky enough to play under him I was 17 when I first played under him in the Scottish youth team. You know, I was 17 years of age, and in Monte Carlo, I can still remember locking him out in the balcony in Monte Carlo as a 17-year-old boy, and him giving me that look, and I let him in kind of quickly, I have to inform you. But he was just, you know, when you say old school, if you'll allow me to say old school, because times have changed and times have moved on, and sometimes I do feel, in many cases, not all cases, but in many cases, we are just a little bit precious, all of us. But Walter, the one thing that Walter was, he was 100% honest and fair, absolutely honest and fair. And if he said something to you, he wasn't saying it for effect, he was saying it for a reason, and he was saying it because it had to be said. And he was just the most genuine of men, you know, with you know, as I say, hard, fair, honest, absolutely wicked sense of humour.
Yeah.
Wicked sense of humour. And just brilliant to be around.
Loved his music, didn't he?
I loved his music.
Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi. I remember I took him to AC/DC. He didn't know what AC/DC were all about. I said, right, come on, you old, we're going to Hampden to see AC/DC. And boy, did he enjoy that. Air guitars were out and everything. Angus Young was up on stage, and he just absolutely loved it. It was just great to be. Loved his music. I mean, was not having me in the punk rock era at all. I mean, it was the Beatles in the 60s or nothing. That was the era to be alive. You know, he loved his music, and really, really knowledgeable, Jim. You know, just fantastic company. We used to go away together and golf, and we used to take the girls away at Christmas for a couple of days, and there was music quizzes and sports quizzes and you name it. Just wonderful memories.
This man was loved by
everyone.
Hundreds of thousands of supporters around the world.
Oh, and across the divide, make no mistake about it, you know. And when I say the divide, we love football rivalry. Everybody loves it, you know, as long as it's taken the right way. My phone's just incredible just now with Celtic friends and supporters, and
yes,
he was just a football man, you know, clearly a Rangers man, and you know, along with Mr. Struth, probably the greatest manager of all time in the club's history. And it'll take a wee while to sink in. I just, you know, I knew it was coming. You know, a sore loser, but appreciated losing, was part of the game, and handled it all with so much dignity and class. Some of the happiest times ever we had. And, you know, as I say, unbelievably intelligent man. When he got the Scotland job, you know, he appointed myself and the late, great Tommy Burns as his assistants.
Yeah.
And it was a brilliant move, because straight away Tam, who was a great person to be around as well, and the biggest Celtic man you'd ever meet in your life, you know, it grabbed the whole imagination of the country. Obviously, Celtic man and a Rangers man, you know, running the country, running the football team in the country. It was just special times, and as I say, quality. You know, knew what was required and when it was required. Whether it was a pat in the back, you know, a little G up, you know, a cuddle. He was just a proper human being.
Your phone, I can see, is in meltdown at the moment. So is mine. Graham Souness, of course. Graham came to be player manager of Rangers, and Walter was his assistant. You remember those days? Remember the Blue Room at Ibrox?
Oh, incredible. I mean,
city stopped.
There's so many people, and I know Graham.
He's just messaged me.
Graham was up,
just extremely upset.
Yeah, Graham was up seeing Walter, I think, at the weekend. I know he was up in Glasgow at the weekend. Graham
was he?
Yeah, I still obviously speak to Graham and see Graham. So
yeah,
it's just unbelievable. But the effect it's going to have, because the one thing I would say is there's been an awful lot of respect shown, understandably and correctly, to Walter during his illness. There's a lot of people were aware that Walter was very, very unwell, but thankfully and deservedly and correctly, he was deserved the privacy during this illness. And as I say, I'm just thinking about Ethel and and Neil and Stephen and the grandkids, because rightly the history books will tell us how good Walter was as a manager and a coach, and that's there. That's all the things that we understand and we appreciate and we love him for. But I'll tell you right now, what a friend, what a pal, what a boss, what a husband, what a grandfather, what a dad. That's the message that this morning we should all be thinking about. These guys in Ethel have lost somebody so close to them, so special to them, and I just send them my love and I can feel their pain.
You won Rangers so many games, Ali. Is there one moment that Walter came to you and you thought, "Jeez, this guy's a class apart"?
No, it's probably a light-hearted one, Jim, because I don't want to. I'm upset, obviously, and I've got so many memories of Walter, brilliant memories, phenomenal memories of the man. And I'm not just talking about football. I'm talking about in the golf course at Turnberry, at Loch Lomond, all these kind of things. Having a glass of red, sitting with a glass of red and a bowl of pasta. The best. I just used to listen and just absorb and take it all in. But I remember in Fiorentina and Florence, we played Fiorentina in the semi-final of the Europa League in 2008, and it went to penalties. And we Nacho was going up to take a penalty, and he turned to me and he said, "What's the score?" Right? He didn't know the score of the penalties. And I looked at him as if I thought he was winding me up. I said, "Gaffer," I said, "if you don't know the score, if this ball hits the back of the net, you're about to find out the score." And of course, Nacho stuck the penalty away, and unbelievable. And the two of us were hugging, and it was a memory that I'll never ever forget. I mean, there's so many, Jim. I couldn't even begin to tell you, but just a proper man. I mean, he gave me the captaincy at Rangers when Big Goffey was injured. I mean, when was the last time a centre forward with the Rangers was given the captaincy? Just absolutely unbelievable human being.
Thanks for that, Fox. Walter, Ferguson, Smith, Bobby E, gone, but will never ever be forgotten. And I think the point that Alan makes there, greatly, Bridgeman, is first and foremost the man.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what he talks about in that sense. I dare say that Ali's probably Walter's biggest fan. I have to say that from a football perspective. He's definitely the biggest fan. And, when he said, lovely statement, it says it was my second dad, it probably was as well, So they're wonderful words that Ali says, and that makes you proud to be a Ranger and have Ali McCoy saying these things. A character in the game all over the world. People know him. And he said these lovely things about our manager. My God, it's great. And that's kindness itself, what Ali was saying, kindness itself. And probably as true as a man can make it. I just think it's magic. It's lovely to listen to. Magic.
Stevie came to our club in 1986, obviously as assistant to Graham Souness. And little did we know what was about to unfold. Obviously, we won the title back. We hadn't won the title for 9 years. Graham Souness plundered the English market, signed stars and started a rebuild job. There's similarities to what Stevie Gerrard's done, but maybe Stevie's no the cash. But little did we know how important Walter Smith was going to be to our club that when we walked in the door with Graham.
Aye, that's right. I went on the journey with Walter, same as all the older hunts, the first time round when Souness left to go to was quite swift. And when Walter got announced, I think everybody thought, oh, we're going to get, believe it or not, maybe an established name, somebody out there that had a lot more experience maybe than Walter. But no, that Walter got announced as the manager, and we went with him, and by God, what a journey. Absolutely, what a journey. Unbelievable. I think it was 21 trophies on in 2 spells. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And I keep going back, you said it yourself, people are turning legends too easy now, but no when you're talking about Walter Smith. Absolutely not. No, absolutely. Jeremy, a guy. And as Ali said, as a human being, first and foremost, and he ticks all the boxes and everything, husband, grandfather, daddy, and man, he grew up like a bear like the rest of his man. What a bear he was. Never the club down an ambassador.
GB, obviously Ali mentioned the Scotland job there, mate.
Aye, Ox, sorry. It was just how Ali, he says united a country, but then he kind of backtracks to united the Scotland team. But see, to be honest, mate, at that time, I can remember in 2004, I was in a kind of place where I wasn't really too bored about Scotland. Bertie Volk stuff and all that carry on was going on, and Walter came back in. I can mind standing in Glasgow and watching the Scotland games when Walter Smith came back and stuff like that, and he did unite. He did unite the country again behind Scotland team again, and there's not many people that can do that. And I think again that just proves the legend to the man, that there's only probably got to be a certain amount of folk that would be able to do something like that it would have everybody in Scotland happy to watch the Scotland national team. It was just a great, and like Ali says, a great man management, knowing who to bring in, his assistants and stuff like that. I just thought this is a great thing.
Jimmy, he was blessed with success. With the Rangers won a lot of trophies for day one. He walked in the door, and within a few months we'd won the League Cup. They had their trials and tribulations as well while he was doing the job. A lot of pressure, a lot of expectations went on Walter's head.
Aye, because obviously Graham Souness came under the David Holmes regime, and then Walter followed for that, because he saw something in Walter that he knew could take Rangers to the next step. And I think a lot of us were a bit doubtful about Souness coming at that time, but when he brought Walter in, I think there was some mere doubters, what is this all about? But as we went on and on and on, then it became we realised that this is going to be a great partnership. And when Graham Souness left 4 games before the season had ended in 1991, it was absolutely a fantastic day that way, 13th of May 1991. And the man himself, I remember I went to a function that night, and then somebody said that Graham Souness was supposedly going to attend, but unfortunately he didn't attend. And it'd been great to see him that night, because a lot of people say he was Mr. Rangers, but definitely I would go along with that. And in the modern era, he was definitely Mr. Rangers. I know we can get back to the Bill's truth, but everybody that I know, including yourself and many others who had the privilege of meeting him, it wasn't just all about Rangers, Oxgear. He put a lot of time out to talk to you about different things, how you were and what affected you.
Up the time, but that's another story.
He probably got up to a lot more. He was a bit of a silent assassin, I think. But for Graham Souness to hand over the baton to him, and then to go and win 7 championships and under his own watch was absolutely fantastic. And it's been, to say it's a privilege is not even the right word, to be part of that as a Rangers fan. Really, it makes me feel proud and upset that he's gone now, but he gave us a lot of great memories.
Cheers, mate.
Aye.
Cheers. We're going to hear from the gaffer now, and then we're going to get the phone lines opened, if that's all right with everybody. Yeah, because obviously this is a phone-in show and we've got to hear what people want to say, if everybody's fine with that, yeah. So we're going to hear from Stevie G, and then we'll get the phone lines open.
Stephen, it's an extremely difficult and very sad day for everyone involved with Rangers Football Club. Can you just put into words your own, the players, the staff's feeling at this awful news today?
Yeah, it's still obviously very raw, but it is a very sad day for everyone connected to the club. Walter was an incredible leader, a very successful manager here at Rangers. I think he epitomised everything that this club stands for. His DNA is all over the club. And it's obviously very sad news.
You talk about his legacy there, and I guess, you know, when you guys walk into this place every day, you see the trophies on the wall, and, you know, quite simply, probably the most successful manager in the modern era for Rangers.
Yeah, he was, and he's been right behind me since day one. Had many lunches and dinners and coffees and chats and private time with him in my office. He's obviously going to be a very big loss and a miss to a lot of people. As you say, he's decorated all over the club, and he will be forever, because he gave many, many years to this football club. He loved the club. He was honest. He was genuine. And he's made me a better person. So I've got nothing but good words to say.
You've touched there on his legacy and also the relationship that you've had with him. How much has it meant to you to know him and to work alongside him these last couple of years?
Yeah, I've been the lucky one to know him and to spend time with him. So have an awful lot of other people who will have their own special memories of a great man. It's going to be emotional in the coming days and weeks. But the best tribute I and we as a team can do is be united, get the fans behind us, and try and win the game tomorrow. And that'll be the best tribute we can give him and his family.
Yeah, as you say, there is a game tomorrow night. Difficult as it is to actually focus on the football, there is a football match going to take place. How do you look ahead to that, and how's the squad looking going into that?
I think when you play Aberdeen, it's tough. Anyway, because they're a good team, and obviously what the news of today is going to make it even more tough. Of course it is, but we need to be united, the fans, the players, everyone at the club, and do our best in the circumstances. And as I say, the biggest tribute we can do is remember him and honour him by trying to put in a performance and getting 3 points for him and his family.
Well, thanks for that, Fox. Win it for Walter seems to be a theme. Jaffa? Oh. All right. Jaffa.
Hi, Ox. How you doing?
Seems to be a theme. Win it for Walter.
Oh, absolutely, Ox. That would be great tomorrow night if we could go and put in a performance to epitomise the legacy of Walter Smith, because I think the fans would love that, and I think the fans and the players tomorrow night and the club in general, I think all of us will be united like no other time. I think tomorrow night will be a special occasion, and I'm really looking forward to getting down there tomorrow night and being with my own folk.
I understand that. Rudy, win it for Walter. When I say win it for Walter, I don't just mean tomorrow night. I mean keep winning for Walter.
Keep winning, as Jaffa says. Well, we know what Walter's legacy was, Ox, don't we? 10 league titles, 21 major trophies in his 2 spells as Rangers manager. It would only be fitting this season of all seasons, after what's happened today in the last sort of few years, and especially with it being the 150th anniversary for Rangers Football Club, for us to go and win this league title now, this time round. It would be a fitting tribute to Walter Ox, it really would, because he was a winner. He was an absolute winner. As I said earlier, I had my doubts when he took over for Graham Souness, but boy, did he prove me wrong. And he went on to prove me wrong twice, actually. I wasn't too sure about him coming back second time, and he totally proved me wrong again second time round. I should have learned for the first time, really. But yeah, we going to win this league title. That's an absolute fitting tribute to Walter Smith.
There's a thread there, mate. What do you know?
Exactly. I've often said, Ox, that's why I sit in my kitchen talking to you, you know.
Aye, listen, I think when he took over for Graham Souness, he was the player's choice, and we had a lot of big players at the time.
Aye. I also, if I remember right, Ox, was Beckenbauer's name no in contention as well? I mean, there was some names, if I remember back to then, about 2 or 3 top names were bandied about at the time. Now, how much truth there was in that, I don't really know. But David Murray seemed to have his heart set, and I remember reading a story a while back, a good few years ago now, that apparently some of the players had sort of got together and went and said to David Murray, he's the man for the job, Walter's the man for the job. They had that much faith in him. They appreciated him that much as a coach and what he'd done, while Graham Souness was there. He took the day-to-day training and the coaching and all that kind of stuff. And so they had complete confidence in him, Ox. And so they'd apparently gone to David Murray and says, there's the man for the job right there. Never mind bringing anybody else in. And we all know what happened, Ox.
Yeah. Well, we'll get the phone lines open, so let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Bridgeman, players come and go, managers come and go, but there's guys who are remembered passionately and fondly. Graham Souness came in and he was loved and adored by the support, but there's a different kind of bond between the support and Walter.
Oh yeah, most assuredly. He was a different type of person to Graham Souness, much as the fans loved him and still do. Still love Graham Souness. But Walter was special and a big special person for sure in the Glasgow area. And they just loved him. They loved his attitude. They knew inside there was steel and there was fight inside him, but his attitude came across in coolness under fire, and he would just stand up there. He sat up in the stand watching the game. And he would come down at a strategic time and see what he could do if he could make anything happen. It was just wonderful to watch. The man knew what he was doing about football, and he knew lots and lots about football, I have to say, and it surprised me. But I think it's just wonderful of the Rangers fans thinking about him the way they do now, and it's still going on. And I think somebody made a tremendous suggestion about what a Rangers going to do for Walter Smith. And one of the guys said, just rename the main stand to the Walter Smith stand or something, or a Copeland stand or a Brownlow stand. Any of these things, just go and do it. Because the guy's worth it,
I've got my personal views on the Sandy Jardine stand. I think it's great to have a tribute to Sandy, but that's the trouble. He might not have enough stands when you have legends.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's the trouble, But I'm sure it's something will be done. I don't think we can rename the Bill Struve stand the Walter Smith stand. It's the Bill Struve stand for a reason,
Of course, I understand. Just meaning that these people were saying we could name a stand after him, or change the name of the stadium to Walter Smith's Ibrox Stadium or something like that. All these wonderful ideas come in. That's just an idea how well the man was thought within the Rangers fans. That's what it is about. They're desperate to retain his memories within the building of Ibrox. That's what they do, and it's just wonderful.
I think the thing is, GFK, that with the modern era, because of DVDs and downloads and YouTube, you'll never be forgotten, and you'll be able to, people can always watch the matches, and they'll be able to be seen by the future generations as well, which is different from a couple of generations ago.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's somebody sitting here. I mean, no, actually talking about DVD, but I think that somebody sitting here actually saw Walter Smith play for Dundee United when he played against Rangers. I know I certainly did. And he was just an average player, and he always said that himself. But I mean, the football he brought to Rangers was absolutely fantastic. Some of the players you've heard talking today, Ali McCoy, Stuart McCall, Richard Gough, legends, Marco Negri, players like that. they actually openly admit that if it hadn't been for Walter Smith, they wouldn't have been the players that they are. So that's testament to what Walter Smith's actually brought to Rangers and what it is going forward. You know, and he's a very, very sad loss. I know he was a director at the late stages there, but I mean, it didn't work for him. But he'll always be remembered. Brought me and many, many thousands, millions of others great memories. And anybody wants to go and see what Walter Smith was like as a player, and I'm not making fun of him. I'm kind of like, but he knew he certainly was an average player, but he scored a couple of decent goals, and an absolute gentleman and a legend. And if they can't name something at Ibrox, then for me it should be the Walter Smith Football Academy doing it Auchenhowie.
Right, aye, all right. I'll see where you're going there, aye. Well, I think the club will at the right time. I think it takes time, and you have to make an informed decision when you do that. Yeah. So we'll see where that takes us. I think that's something to maybe debate over the next few weeks and months. But first and foremost, we want to talk about what will be remembered for, and it's difficult. But first of all, we've enjoyed our first caller tonight. Is Jim from Paisley. Evening, Jim. Oh, sorry, Jordan. How are you doing, Jordan?
All right, guys. Aye, just try to get over the day, to be honest. I'm actually just back at Ibrox. I was up at Ibrox just about maybe 15 minutes ago, and my God, the place was incredible. It was absolutely beautiful, I thought.
Mm-hmm. I think this, I mean, obviously people come and pass away quite often connected with our club, but we used the term legend, and David Cooper, there was an outpouring of grief, and obviously Sandy Jardine passed away as well, but I think this will be on a par, if no bigger, than any Ray passings for the support because of how fondly we got to Jordan.
Mm-hmm. I would go as much to say icon, to be honest. And icon, I think, to be honest, he was Mr. Rangers at the end of the day, and somebody said it today on the radio. He said you could have sworn a close family member passed away today. That's what it kind of felt like for me today. I know that's kind of hard to put into context, but
you're alone in thinking that?
It really did. It felt that way. I was just, I know he wasn't well, but end of the day, it's Mr. Rangers has died at the end of the day, and part of Rangers Football Club has died today, I think, to be honest.
Yeah, you're right. Part of our history of our club's died, but Walter wouldn't have anything but success for the club, and hope that his passing could be used as a positive to drive his own to more success, mate. You're not alone in these thoughts, mate. You're not alone in these thoughts. Listen, Jordan, great to hear to you. Thanks for taking the time to call us. We've got loads of people coming in, and we'll speak to you soon, brother.
Aye, no worries, guys.
Chin up, mate.
Take care. Rest in peace, Walter. Take care, guys.
Jordan, thanks a lot, mate.
Bye-bye.
I'll go to Rudy. I don't think he's alone in feeling like that today.
No, I think that's pretty much described it for most days. I would think Walter's been such a huge part. With Rangers supporting life, hasn't he? For such a long time, he was so successful. And I read a wee clip that somebody had put on. Somebody had called him the father of Rangers, modern day father of Rangers Football Club. I don't think you could have described that any better. He was such a big family man as it was with his grandkids. He had 2 sons, and he was a husband, and I just thought that was a perfect description of him, as far as the modern day history of the club goes. If anybody was ever described as the father of Rangers, it would have to be Walter Smith. So I think it's quite fitting, to say that it felt like we'd lost a family member the day. And that's what we've done, Ox. We've lost a family member the day. He's such a huge part of the Rangers family, wasn't he,
Cheers, Rudy. Yeah, we've been joined by my mucker, Jim from Paisley. How are we doing, Jim?
Not too good. I promised myself a day, Oxford, I was keeping everything off. No phones, no radio. I woke up this morning, well, before I realised this morning, I got up this morning, my phone was like Blackpool Eliminations. Everybody texted me about the demise of Walter. No, it was upset enough, but I thought myself, I know Walter's legacy. I don't need to listen to other people's,
Yeah, their memories. You've got your own, yeah.
I will, boy. So I spent this day working this, keep myself shut out. then again, if I listen to the guys and see today, I'm not kidding you, this is the truth, right? This reminds me of 30 years ago with my boy, with my son, my brother actually. I'm not upset there, obviously. Walter was until my dad died. It was one of the days for me. It was like a death.
Yeah, that's a fair comment. I mean, you're just following the tune that young Jordan said, and I don't mean to be rude, Jim, but I think you're a bit older than young Jordan, and he's feeling it. He said he felt as if he'd lost a family member, and I think we all understand what you're saying. Yeah, he's been a big part of all our lives, Walter Smith.
Big part. He's been. I don't want to get in routine of what we can do, what we should do, and what we can't do. It's just, listen, I'm going to get rid of this and let the guys. There's probably loads of people wanting to come on and
all
talk
right,
about this.
We appreciate you phoning in, mate. Yeah, you look after yourself, all right?
All the best.
All right, cheers, mate. All right, I'm going to bring in Southside. Southside's there. There's a pain in the Rangers support that it doesn't happen that often. If you're there, Southside.
Aye, mate, I'm here. Aye.
There's a pain that it's strange, bizarre. People generally hurting, yeah.
Aye, mate, 100%.
You know, and it's because he's been. Well, you're talking now. You're talking about since he walked in the door. You're talking about 35 years.
Mm-hmm.
He walked in the door in 1986. You know.
Do you know they had a wee acting chairman role as well at the time, didn't it?
In 2000 and I think 13, mate, but I might be wrong. I need to check that out. Yeah.
He's been a big, massive part of the club, mate. You know, and he's brought us success. And the thing, listening to a lot of people talking today and ex-players, I've heard Derek McInnes and Stuart McCall, Richard Goff. There's loads of them been talking. But the one thing they all sort of come back to is he was a wonderful man and he was honest and truthful. And he was just that type of person. He said you just go to Walter the same way. He said he could turn on you, but it was always in the right way, and it was criticism, and you had to take it because he was always speaking that it was always right in what he was saying. And there's nobody really ever had a bad word to say to him, as they said. But no, I think just for what he done at the club, mate, taking over for Graham Souness and success that he had, it's what we craved after going into the 80s when Souness came in, and through that period of time, right through into the 90s, and that, it was unparalleled success for us, you know. And it was just a joy to be part of to follow Rangers at that time and go to Ibrox as well, and to see a change. And Walter was the one leading it after Souness left. Like earlier said, Rudy, and that there was a few people touted for the job, but I think the players, and at that time David Murray, thought, no, Walter's the man. And he was the man that guided us forward and obviously took us to the success that we got under him.
I don't think anybody could have predicted the success he was going to have going forward. Stevie?
No. But once they got up and running, you know, you always had that feeling. He made Rangers hard to beat, Ox. No matter what team we had, or what players he had, he get the best out of individuals, he got the best out of his teams, and he made them very, very hard to beat. All right, it might not have been, but most times in Europe we were punching above our weight, but we were hard to beat. You know, he just got everything out of it. But as far as the success goes, I think through time and we got a bit of momentum, we knew we had the psychological thing where his opponents all the time and all, you know, and as it built up, we were expecting to win. I mean, there was games where maybe Celtic would go 1-up during his reign, and you knew you always could come back and do them, you know. I know one of the names, going back to what you were talking about there, one of the names that was getting brandied about for the manager's job was George Graham of the Arsenal. Is that right? Is it George Graham? At that time?
I think he did. I'm not sure if he was still there at the Arsenal then. When 1989 he won the league with Arsenal, and then I need to check it out. Look, there was loads, but I think there was. I don't think the job was going anywhere else, mate. Yeah.
No, nobody players. Nobody players talking up from.
Some sure people in a certain watering hole in the West End of Glasgow got him at 5-1. But the question I'm going to pose to you is before obviously we'll be building up the tune so you can think. Obviously, he won 7 league titles the first time round, but we were arguably spending more money than any other team in Britain, outspending everybody, one of the top spenders in world football. And then when he came back, things had changed. And we went on and won the Leagues Cups, and then obviously the 2008 run, we were robbed a possible European success and maybe a treble if we were in authorities, and also we were robbed in 92, 93 with the Bernard Tapie scandal, potentially getting to a European final, and you never know what can happen if you get a final. So the question to you guys and anybody else that's going to join us, what was his great success? His first 7 titles in the circumstances, or the second 3 titles in the circumstances? So we'll come at that after the tune, but it's just something to ponder. GB?
Oh, mate, it's a cracking question, isn't it? Like, you've put me right in the middle of it, with me being a young laddie, watching 9 in a row.
It was myself, mate. It's just the DVDs.
Aye, mate. And then obviously, let's say, is that like a grown man watching him come back in really, really hard times, mate. We had the turmoil with Paul Le Guen, and he didn't shy away from it, I should say, because there's no many that wanted to take it on at that time, and the big man stepped up for us, you know what I mean? And just, it's absolutely gutting to know that he's away today, Ox. It's just, it's just not what you want to hear. It's just, you want him to be about. I'm just so glad that Gerard had the pleasure of meeting him, and like Gerard saying there in his interview, that his DNA he's felt his DNA throughout the club, which is great to know that a guy like Gerard and his stature is appreciating Walter Smith.
I think Stevie used that. He wasn't being flippant when he says it. There's Stevie G and Graham Souness with the Rangers manager, Rudy Bear.
I think that's brilliant. I really do. I saw that somewhere on social media the day, and I don't think I could agree more. And I'm sure in a quiet moment, if you had a word with Stevie G and Graham Souness, they'd just say the same thing, because they know the admiration. You can see the admiration in Stevie G. You know, he took Stevie G under his wing when Stevie came in 3 seasons ago, and he says to him, "Look, you know, I'm here just at the end of a phone, son, if you need a bit of advice." And you'd pop in and see him regularly, have coffee with him, and you'd sit and have a quiet moment in his office and just have a gab about the pressures of being manager of one of the biggest clubs in the world. And Walter was well used to that, so I'm sure he could impart pretty much any kind of advice that Stevie G wanted. But he'll always be the Rangers manager, Walter Smith. He'll never be forgotten. His record stands for itself. And as far as, I think personally, his first time round or second time.
We'll get to that. We'll get there.
All right, okay. All right.
Yeah. We'll be joined by Jim from Kent. Evening, Jim.
How you doing, pals?
Sad
day. Sad day.
Aye, mate, a very sad day. What's your thoughts, mate? Sum up how you're feeling.
You know, well, I'll tell you, and I've kind of realised how old I am. It's a strange realisation. I was very lucky to go and see the Rangers when I was young, and that's 70s. And I've seen some great Rangers players, and I remember Souness coming, and it was a revelation. We needed it, and it was brilliant. And I wandered through the whole 9 in a row and had a season ticket, and it was just a joy. And I heard somebody in the radio today saying they only grew up in the 9 in a row time, and it was the only new Rangers winning leagues. And I thought, God, what? You know, I was unfortunately lucky enough to remember hard times, and then to enjoy that time with us winning everything with Walter. And I remember a trip. I lived in Glasgow still when the legend Davy Cooper died, and I remember just walking out my work the minute I heard, left my work in the factory and just went to Ibrox. And I'm stuck down here in Kent, you know, and I'm right down the south coast. And God, I'd love to just come up there and just be with and pay my tribute to Walter, because that man made me happy. That man brought me so much goddamn joy. And I've still got my ticket. And I was in the Dundee United end. And I was sitting in amongst the Dundee United fans when we won 9 in a row. And that man delivered that. And I just loved it. Yeah, I love the man. And he's a father, a grandfather, a wonderful fucking husband. And I love him. And it's such a shame. Such a shame.
Listen, Jim, good to hear from you, mate. We'll be going to a tune shop. I think it's very nice what you've said about Walter. Great memory. And I think there's a certain generation that Walter Smith will never be forgotten about amongst the Rangers.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. Great to hear from you, mate. And thanks for taking
Thank you. Thank you. No, God rest him.
Cheers, mate. Well said.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Aye. Emotions, GFK.
Yeah, it's very emotional, mate. I mean, I think everybody's said it. You know, it's like losing a member of the family, and I don't think anybody's embarrassed about saying that. I bubbled myself several times a day, and I'm big and ugly enough to admit that. You know, that the man that I'm, just that's what Rangers Day is. You know, and Walter felt like we'd lost a member of our family, and it's sad. You know, and the last time I felt like this was when Davy Cooper went, and that just shows you what Rangers does to us. And he's brought us so much joy, you know, and it's been absolutely a fantastic journey. And now he's resting easy. He's not in any pain now, and I thank him for the joy that he's gave me, and the company that I've kept over the years watching Rangers because of Walter Smith's brought to us. It's been joyful, mate. But it's a sad day as well, and we've got to remember, not just Rangers, but we've got to remember his wife and his family, how they're feeling at this moment in time. It's not just all about Rangers.
No, first and foremost, he's a family man, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, that's his priority in life, like everybody. And then, obviously, his professional career, he'll never be forgotten for his professional career.
Yeah.
You know, but anyway, listen, lads, get yourself to mute, and we're going to have a tune. And I think you'll know the message.
I call you, I need you, my heart's on fire. You come to me wild and wild. You come to me, give me everything I need. Give me a lifetime of promises and a world of dreams. Speak the language of love like you know what it means. And it can't be wrong.
Well, thanks for that, Fox. To pay tribute to Fox, who spent a lot of time today trying to decide the music they were going to play for the show tonight, and found it very difficult because he was emotional at Resties, and he played the video in the studio there, and some of the panel hadn't seen that video before and are quite excited, but no names, no background. Right, okay. I posed a question. I'm going to start with Bridgeman. Walter's 7 and Walter's 3. The circumstances, what was his greatest achievement for us? Bridgeman.
I think getting us the 9 in a row, getting us to the 9 in a row, it's got to be his greatest achievement, and did we love that? That was just something for the club. The whole club was electrified by it. Just fabulous. He ran a great team all the way through. The only thing I would say about it is I was a bit upset when I got 10, but the 9 must have been the greatest achievement for Rangers. Absolutely fabulous. Mm-hmm. Just absolutely fabulous getting that. Well done, Walter Smith.
Stevie, I'm talking about the circumstances behind it. Obviously, the where the club was at the time. Your thoughts, mate?
For me, the year was 92-93 season where we get robbed the touch in the European Cup final and we done a treble that year. I thought that was his most successful year, but Bridge is probably right. If you're looking at something and you're saying what is his one ultimate aim, would have probably been to match in 9 in a row, you know. But, the circumstances, maybe second one regarding he never had a lot of money and stuff to pay, spend and stuff like that, Ox. But for me, 92-93 season, that'd be hard to touch. Doing a treble when, we were robbed. We really were robbed by Bernard Tappy and that, you know.
All right. Southside, then JFK, Southside.
I think doing the 9 in a row with the pressure that we were under. I know we had more money to spend and stuff like that, but I think it was a huge pressure going for that. What he done when he come back second time, it was a great achievement. We a lot less money and lesser players, but for me, Ox, I think doing the 9 in a row, and as Stevie says, 92-93 season, demolished Everton, just had a team that was just had the will to win, didn't see getting beat. So for me, going for the 9 in a row, pal.
All right, GFK.
Without a doubt, for somebody like yourselves who's lived through watching the puddle drinkers day the 9 in a row, for me, winning the 9 in a row had to be done. And it was absolutely fantastic to be there and see it happen. And that was, I know Graham Souness started with the building, the team that went on to do it, but Walter done 7, and that brought in the 9 in a row. For me, his second coming was good, but the 9 in a row for me, without a shadow of a doubt, that was an absolutely wonderful, wonderful time to be a Rangers fan. You went to Ibrox and he went away as well, and you just didn't expect us to get beat. So the 9 in a row era for me, mate, definitely.
Jaffa?
I agree, Ox. The same emotions and the same as the lads there. Being up in Tannadice the afternoon we won 9 in a row with Loudrop's header was an unbelievable achievement. And Walter Smith's, for me, that was his greatest achievement for Rangers. And like Big Stevie said as well, the 92, and you as well alluded to it, the 92-93 season with Marseille and all the scandal that went on and the briberies and everything else that all came out afterwards. Just great times with Walter Smith and signing players like Paul Gascoigne, Ox. I mean, the story about what he done when he went over to Italy, got a flight over to Italy and got him off a quad bike and brought him back to Glasgow. I mean, when Paul Gascoigne rocked up at Ibrox Stadium that day with Walter Smith, I thought it was in a movie. I still think of that day, and that was incredible. What a man! What a man!
Aye. Any thoughts, Rudy Bear?
I'm going to swim against the tide a wee bit here, Ox. I mean, don't get me wrong, I loved the 9 in a row. It was, as Jimmy says, it was something that had to be done, and it was just amazing. It just felt like every time Rangers went for a league title, you just had every confidence that they were going to get it at the end of the season. They were going to end up champions at the end of the season. But I think his second time round, Ox, with the circumstances, the disaster that Le Guin turned out to be, and Walter coming back in, and the banks are watching every penny that was going out of the club, and if I remember right, Ox, I don't think we spent much on players at all for a couple of seasons back then.
James Beattie.
Aye, and he still managed in that second spell to come away with 3 league titles, 2 Scottish Cups and 3 League Cups. So as much as I admire the 9 in a row, and it was a fantastic time for the fans, for the club, almost getting to a Champions League final, as the boys were talking about there. I think when he came back for his second spell in 2007, I think that's when he really showed his mettle, I thought, because during the 9 in a row, we were throwing money about like nobody's business. So we were one of the biggest spending clubs in the world back then. So we were. And his second spell, there was hardly a penny to be spent. And I just think he showed his mettle as a manager then, I think. So I'm going to go for his second spell.
Don't worry about Rudy. They've got a vote each and I've got 10 votes. So...
Right, okay.
All right. GB.
I'm going to probably go with Rudy as well, Ox.
Good man, GB. Good man.
I mean, 9 in a row. 9 in a row was great memories for me, buying the VHS in 9 in a row and nearly burning out my video player, just watching it back and back and back. I do agree.
Did that happen with your Blue movies, yeah?
Aye. Using the 2 video recorders to tape things and all as well. It's just, it's a period of time that, like you say, the guys are saying was pressure and stuff like that. But see, when you look at that 07-08, that journey to that UEFA Cup final, it was the one that was eluding him. I mean, he'd been touching distance to a final. And for him to come back and take that team that we had and take them to a European final was, I don't know how he done it. I just don't know how he done it. Just the class of the man. And then on to obviously another 3 titles, Ox. Brilliant.
All right, we've been joined by George for UK. Evening, George.
Evening, boys. Hope you're all right.
Aye, mate, aye, the floor's yours, mate. But I know what's on your mind, but just get it off your chest, mate.
I mean, honestly, I didn't even know till I got a phone call today, man. And I've just been gobsmacked all day, totally gobsmacked, man. You know what I mean? And all I can say is that Walter Smith, man, epitomises everything that a Rangers manager should be. He just was pure class, absolute pure class. And brought us not the 9 in a row he brought us, man, was just. What can you say, man? It was just fantastic, man, to go through those times. And see what Stevie says, I totally agree with that. We were absolutely pure robbed. By the way, we should have been in the final that year, by man, for that Bernard Tapia carry on. Know what I mean? I don't know what to say about it, man. Know what I mean? It feels like a loss in the family. It really does. It feels like it did when I lost my father or something. You know what I mean?
I understand that, George. I think the point you're making is not just 9 titles. I mean, if you really think about it, it was fundamental in 10 league titles for us first time around.
Yeah.
3 the second time around, and also it was part of the D United success as well.
Yeah. I mean, and by the way, and you think about it, and all they got to the semi-finals of the European Cup in it, and
I think they were 2 up. I think they were 2 up with 20.
Aye, and they were robbed. They were robbed and all with bad refereeing decisions because they could have been in the final against Liverpool. So I mean, imagine
he's involved.
You
So
know
that's
what I mean?
13, 14 league titles he was involved in Scotland. You know.
Aye, man. I mean, there's got to be a statue built by it. I don't know about the stands, by because when you think about it. God forbid, you know what I mean? If Ali goes, man, what do you can't name it. What stand you got to name after Ali?
John Gregg's not away, is he?
Well, that's what I mean. John Gregg, man, you know what I mean? There's so many legends, you know.
Mm-hmm. Aye, I think you have to look to do something else, mate. That's only my own thoughts, George. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go, boys. Let others in.
All right.
I feel gutted, lads, man. You know what I mean?
Thanks for the call, George. You look after yourself, and we appreciate it, mate. And we understand.
No
yeah?
problem. We are
All
the
right.
people.
Great
by the
call.
way. God rest Waller.
Cheers, mate. GB, you could hear the emotion there, couldn't you?
It certainly could.
You know
mate.
you need your own website, but do you know?
Go on.
Aye, you could, mate. And this is the effect. That's what it says. This is just no any other guy. This is a guy that we've grew up with. Like I've grew up with. Like I've followed Rangers, and that's how most of the time that's all I knew. It was Walter Smith.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very hard now that I've got a new wee boy in my life, and I can't turn around and say to him, well, this is like Walter Smith, and this is what he's done, and it's very hard not to have the. I mean, you're talking, you have met him and that. I've been very unlucky that I've been in situations where I've nearly met him, and I've just it's just no harmed, and I'm absolutely gutted that I've never actually had the pleasure to shake the man's hand.
Yeah. Well, I could tell you a few stories. A lot of them I couldn't tell on air, but listen, mate, he was a gentleman and a family man. But we've been joined by Amanda. Evening, Amanda.
Hi, all. How are you? All right?
Yeah.
It's just been an emotional day, hasn't it? Really? It has. It's been an emotional day. Obviously, you said we're talking about 9 in a row, and I mean, I remember the night at Tannadice when we won 9 in a row, and we were right behind the goal when Laudrup scored the goal, and the expression in Walter Smith's face, it was just pure delight, and he was just a genuine down-to-earth guy, and if you met him anywhere, he would always say hello to you. He'd never spend time with the fans, and it's just been an emotional day, but then again, we've had a few of them recently, haven't we? And I think he's one of these managers that'll be truly missed. In the sense of, he was a genuine, down-to-earth, good guy, and he, no matter what side of the spectrum you come from, you couldn't deny he was a genuinely kind guy.
Aye. I think a lot of people use the term gentleman, Big Stevie, and I think that Walter.
Yeah. First and foremost, a total decent human being, a genuine guy. I mean, even the mob on the other side of the city couldn't say nothing bad about the guy. I mean, there was one big story just sums it up for me. His last game, that if we can all remember, against Hearts at Parkhead, when the team broke up, clapped every one of the Hearts players off the field, and the story goes that he put a case of champagne onto their bus for them to enjoy, and that was his last game, and they beat us. And that's just sums the guy up for me, Just he knew how to lose, he knew how to win, and just a totally decent guy, human being. And Amanda, I've been shattered all day. I was fine up to watch the manager's interview, and when his heat went down and he lost it, that was me away. I mean, my wee dog Fergie was covered in tears, so he was. He was looking at me as if, what's going on here? Absolute shattered I was. And I tried.
You don't see your dad crying in a lifetime, and then you see him when Fernando Nixon dies, and you see him the day, and you're going, oh my God. But no, as you say, I think it's just been one of these days where it's just kicked you right in the teeth, and you've just thought, what the hell's going on? First of all, it was Walter Smith, and then it was Jimmy Miller, and then you're going, oh my God.
Be careful. Don't believe everything you read on the internet, Amanda.
I know, but the thing is as well, you just go at that, it's just going to be such a miss. But as I say, it's just one of the ones that's got everybody today, hasn't it? You're just going, flipping heck.
It's an emotional day for all the support, but also, as I said, be careful. Don't believe everything you read on the internet.
No, I know, that's it. But as I say, it's just been one of these days.
This will maybe tickle you. Somebody's just posted, it was nice of George to pass the phone to Amanda.
After this, we're definitely going to the same room. to get into my PJs and get into my bed and snuggle on my own, I had. Anyway, listen, I'll let you go. I'll get going and let other callers come in, but I just want to say, God rest you, Walter Smith. You will be missed.
Cheers, Amanda. Well said.
Okay, bye.
Cheers. Rudy, she's right. It's an emotional day. Yeah, there's no doubt in it.
Absolutely, 100%. Alex, as I said, I've just been watching all the tributes today. Been watching ex-players, watching Ali. I'm listening to Stuart McCall earlier. And it's an emotional day for them as well. You can hear it in their voices. Even Kenny Miller. I heard Kenny Miller earlier on. And nobody's got a bad thing to say about Walter. And you really seriously couldn't have. I mean, first and foremost, what's came to the fore is how nice a man he was, how good a man he was, as opposed to his managerial abilities. How nice a guy he was. He was an absolute gentleman, and everybody said that. Even Graham Alexander at Motherwell said that the day in his press conference. So, it's been fairly emotional, I have to say. Every time I see a tribute, I've seen a tribute today, I've had a big lump in my throat myself. And I think I heard Jimmy saying he had a wee bubble once or twice. Well, I'm glad you said that, Jimmy, because I did as well once or twice, I have to say. Thinking back to my big mate as well, we were through that 9 in a row time, and I've lost my big mate a few years ago now. So we were in the Eastern Closure through all the years, all the seasons and all that. It was just fantastic. But to lose somebody like Walter so unexpectedly, and I know everybody knew Ox that he hadn't been keeping well, but it was a wee bit because it had gone so quiet for quite a while now, that it was a bit of a ball out the blue, so it was. But it's a very emotional day, and I would imagine over the next few days it'll be just as emotional when we start seeing more tributes and stuff like that.
I think it's fair comment what GFK said. I think he's summed it up. I don't think he's alone.
No, certainly not.
And the support, feeling the emotions. But Southside, Walter wouldn't want us to mellow, would he? Walter would want us to try and drive on, because that's what he was. He was a winner, and he was a Ranger.
Aye, 100%. Ox, complete winner on the Ranger. I think like everybody said in the way we've spoke tonight, everybody said the same things, and a lot of people have repeated it. Just the mark of the man. But I certainly Walter would be wanting us to go out and win another. Like, it must have brought some joy to him last year when Stevie G done it, and like he'd said, he'd been a big part in speaking to Walter at times, and no better man to speak to that's steeped in the club and knows the job. And so Walter will want the support to galvanise and remember him, but also we want us to go out and hopefully we'll carry on and win the league this season's a tribute, and hopefully we'll maybe add another couple of cups as well and just go for the glory, mate.
Win it for Walter, mate. Win it for Walter.
100%, mate.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's fair, JFK, that Walter, when he would want us to try and drive on, yeah?
Of course he would, and we will do that, the team will do that, and we will remember him fondly, because, I mean, we don't use the word lightly. I mean, we did love what he done for Rangers, and we always will. But that's just what Rangers do to you. And I mean, people like Walter Smith are part of Rangers. He's a blue nose, first and foremost. That's what he was. He never ever shied away from the fact, no matter playing for Dundee United, he always told you he was a blue nose, and the greatest thing in his life was to be the manager of Rangers. Absolutely wonderful. I sat and watched a video today, the football years Walter Smith. Go and watch it, and you'll not just see him talking about Rangers, but you'll see him talking about life, and see him talking about what he achieved with Dundee United and things like that. And he's a very humble man, and that brings a lot to us. I think that's why. I mean, Big Stevie said that it was tears and that, and wee Fergie was soaking. My wee Blue was sitting in my knee, and I'm watching Ali McCoy, and that was me away again. And it's hard.
They two dogs will want him to leave home.
Well, maybe so, but Big Stevie's right. The emotions get the better of you. People kind of laugh when they say, but it's only football. But it isn't only football. Walter Smith's been part of our lives for a long, long time, and it's a Rangers football family, and I'm no embarrassed to say that I cried today, and I probably still have a lot of tears left in me.
We've been joined by Kenny. How we doing,
Good
Kenny?
evening.
Evening, Kenny. How are you?
Gutted. I did the Elshire. I'm totally gutted. I've been beaten on and off loads, you know. I'm just big enough to admit it, you know. Just totally stunned by it, you know. It's one of these things in life, you know. You'll always remember that you heard the news. I was out with the dog at the time this morning. I came back with a text from my phone from my daughter, who's at college. She had died daughter Swift dead. That's how I found it, you know. But, you know, you must all you guys talking tonight, you know, 35 years of my life, you know, for the very beginning, you know, it's, you know, you just, you know, to lose them, you know, you'll never forgotten, you know. You know, I was talking about earlier on there, you know, it was his best era, you know. Well, for me personally, I'd go with the 9. You know, I was like you,
it wasn't quite the question, but I understand where you're coming from, Kenny.
Yeah? Well, growing up in the 70s and they'd done it, you know, it was, you know, and we had to do it, you know, but the second spell, you know, to, you know, even if I had a cup tried to make money, as I got older, I forget, you know what I mean, but his first goal for him, game the Parkhead, did we not win that game 1-0?
You Lechiog.
Okay, overhead kick, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Aye, he had the Indians. He had the Indian side of our Celtic. I feel, you know, he really did. You know, it's such a loss. You know, it really is. And tomorrow night, you know, I think it'll be one of the most emotionally fueled atmosphere of all time. You know.
Aye. I think it will be special, mate. I'm just looking at get his stats against them. Played them 56 times, 28 wins, 13 draws, 15 losses. Yeah.
Well, that's a great record, you know, by any standards, you know. But it's an awful sore one. I mean, my daughter's pretty upset about it, you know, and she just remembers me in the second spell, you know, and you know that day at Kilmarnock and won the league. I never got a ticket for that day, you know, but after we all went over the Irish to see them coming back, you know, and that night Irish, it was amazing, you know. Some great memories, Walter, he gave us, man, it was brilliant. He just thought the days would never end back in, you know, the 90s and that, you know. But really gutted about it, totally gutted about it. Listen, I'm going to go on with some fear of it, you're going to be busy. Thanks for taking my call, and Walter, RIP.
Good to speak to you, Kenny. Don't be a stranger, mate, all right?
I will not. I've just had a few family problems lately. Anyway, right, good night, guys. Okay, thanks.
Yes. Bye. GB, you wanted to come in?
Aye, Ox, I was going to ask you what side that you felt was more important, mate? What side that?
What was more important? I think the 9 in a row was more important. What was more a feat? Then maybe with the circumstances behind it, I might be in the Rudy camp. Yeah, 2 different questions. Yeah, that makes sense. You know.
You don't make sense, Ox.
Yeah.
Was it
sense?
Ox for you? Was it the lack of money, or was it the?
We were a shambles. We were a shambles. Or no, you know. I mean, when they took you there, we were actually top of the league. And he nearly blew it at Fir Park, if you remember that day, Chief.
I remember that well. Remember that. Don't listen to that, Rudy.
3-0.
You remember that day, yeah?
Yeah, 3-0, they beat a smaller boy.
So we nearly blew it.
So we did.
It'd been interesting if we hadn't beat Aberdeen, would they go to the job? You know, life's funny, isn't
it? I might know had a wife if we had to get beat that day. No, I met, that was the day I met my wife, 13th of May 1991. I was at a dance in Blackie Street, and that's where I met her, at the dance, Fitba dance. Walter, you've got a lot to answer for. I love you.
So if that makes sense, I think it's 2 different questions. What was more important? I'll go with the 9 in a row. What was the greater feat? I think due to the circumstances, maybe he's second 3 in some respects, but it's all about opinions. Southside.
Aye, mate, that's what I said earlier. Obviously, the pressure, we had a bit of money back then and stuff, but like you said, Rudy, going on that run and that, and we were a shambles, you know, and we were all shouting for, well, we all got asked the question, who do we really want back to the club to try and get it back and stabilised? And Walter was the man, wasn't he? And the thing about it as well, we've got to remember, Walter's family's been through it. They've been through the manager of Rangers as well, because he's been there that long, and it affects your family and all that for him as well. And they've been through the journey with Walter all the way as we have, but we're only seen it from the outside, being supporters, you know. So his missus and his boys growing up and all that have all been steeped in the club and supported him all the way, you know. And that's who you probably feel sorry at this time for at the moment, you know, like we've said. But Walter, I just hope now the club, it'll be an emotional day tomorrow at Ibrox, and then hopefully in time the club will take a bit of time to reflect, talks, and they'll maybe do something fitting for Walter, you know, in time. I wouldn't like a knee-jerk decision. There'll be a lot of things flung forward, but I think they get a bit of time, and then maybe they'll come up with something that we'll agree with, or we could put it to my Jers members first. Jimmy, what do you think?
We'll not go there at the moment.
I would have been proud. I would have been proud that I was getting put out there.
That was a ouya.
We're also going to have
one at a time. What have you been told? Wait till you hear your name. Right, okay. Rudy Bear.
We've also got the new museum and all that Emerson House stuff and everything, you know. So there's maybe something could be done along that lines, you know.
He's got a partner, hasn't he? He's got the big.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have like the 9 in a row stuff in there. All that's going to be in there, you know, the league title wins, you know, cups, Scottish Cups. And Walter's a huge part of that. 20% of our trophies, Walter lifted one of the trophies. So he's going to have a huge part in that museum. So maybe the club could do something down that line, you know, with the new works that's going to be there, the new museum and everything like that. Maybe it'd be nice to call it the Walter Smith Rangers Museum or something like that, you know. I don't know whether the support would be, whether they'd be amicable with that, but I think I probably would, in all honesty, because he's been such a huge part of our history, modern day history especially, and a huge part of most of our lives on this show anyway, you know.
Well, we'll see. I think you've got to take time before you make this.
Oh, aye.
No do it quick.
No.
GB, you were coming in, then we'll go to the bridge.
No, I was just actually got to compliment Southside on his big fishing rod there.
Oh, it was a cracker. It was a cracker. Jaffa, then the bridge.
I agree. I think take time, Ox, on it, and no doubt the family will probably have his wife and his boys will have some input to what they would like the club to do if what the club decide to do anything, which I'm 100% sure they will. And I think the other thing about Walter Smith as well, Ox, that we all know in his Bears and his Rangers fans, he was a master tactician as well. The way he used to navigate, especially in his second spell that you're talking about there, with the little resources he had, some of the results he used to get through Europe was incredible. And also when he was down at Everton, where he didn't have a lot of money, and I know down south he was a lot of great tributes today rolling in from Everton and from Alex Ferguson at Manchester United and so forth, and Wayne Rooney I noticed as well.
Aye, well, I think Rooney would. Did he give him his debut? Did Moyes give him his debut? He might have been there training when Walter was in. He maybe caught him running about the first team. Yeah.
The story is, Ox, he spoke Alex Ferguson into taking him to Man U. It was Walter apparently that says to Alex Ferguson, look, you need to get this boy, Rooney, take him to Man U. And apparently, you know, it was because he hyped him up, he ended up at Man U.
Aye, I mean, we're talking about Walter the manager here, Bridgeman. What would you say was his greatest signing then for the club, our club? We'll go to GFK.
For me, it's going to be Gaza, mate. I think for him to tame Gaza, shall we say. We all know that the animal that Gaza is, and I say that kindly. What a fantastic player he is, or he was. And the story about him signing Gaza was absolutely wonderful to listen to. For me, it's got to be Paul Gascoigne, without a shadow of a doubt. I thought what he did for Rangers, especially the call at the Gaza game against the Sheep, was absolutely wonderful. So for me, it's got to be Paul Gascoigne, mate.
All right. Okay, I get where you're coming from. We'll go to... Well, Jaffa can answer that next, and then we'll go to Broody Bear.
I think Laudrup for me, Ox. I think Brian Laudrup was Walter's greatest signing. Technically, I think Laudrup, I mean, what a player he was. As was Gaza, of course. But Laudrup was a coup and a half. And what a player he was, Brian Laudrup. And Brian Laudrup signed for Walter Smith. That was what Brian Laudrup said. He signed for Walter Smith.
All right, okay.
Same here for me, I'm afraid. As much as I loved Gaza, and it was at the game there, the game against the Sheep, he was just phenomenal that day, Ox, he really was. But I think overall, class-wise, I think it's got to be Brian Laudrup for me. I mean, we'll never see a player like that again at Rangers, unless we find a gem somewhere. But, back he was playing at AC Milan and stuff like that, and to come to Rangers, what a player. He could do stuff with the ball that you just couldn't see any other player doing that way, the kind of thing, and he was just amazing, Brian Laudrup. He had all the skill in the world, so he was a quality, world-class player, Brian Laudrup, he really was.
All right, GB first.
For me, it's Gaza. Just because that was the time when I decided to go and get the same haircut as him.
All right, okay, fair enough. We'll be enjoying the travel. Travel.
Hi, hello there.
Hello, mate. How are you doing, mate? All right.
I'm good, Dan. A tough day today.
Aye, mate. I believe you were just in at the stadium a few minutes ago, mate. Well, about an hour ago, yeah.
Aye, I'm just back in the house now. Went up the road. Pay respects to Walter. It
was a good lady with you?
She was, aye.
So it's obviously cheaper to have the heating on in the motor than it is in the house, then.
That's true, aye. She was there with me. There was a good turn of people there, and there's obviously been a lot of people going back and forward all day today, and that's the mark of the man's just such an effect on your club. I know you're talking about players there, but he could rhyme off players in every position that fair enough. I know the legend is Walter Smith, but there's players there. Gorham to McGregor to Richard Gough to Davy Weir to McCall to Gascoigne to Ferguson to McCoy to Chris Boyd. I think all these players that have made so much, and Walter's guided everyone. Stephen Davis. Walter's guided every one of these players. They've all brought us so much happiness over the years, and Walter's guided them all. And you can hear the ones that come out and speak in the day, the effect that man's had in all these players. And look, us fans as well, we know what he means to us, but some of these players today, Super Ali, you heard him a day, Nacho Novo, heard him a day, and even Lorenzo Amoruso talking. It's just, what a man he was, what a man. And I think we're all better for having had some of Walter in the life,
Aye, that's a nice sentiment, mate. I think you're right. He's been a big part of the Rangers family for a long time, mate. More years than we care to remember. 35 years since he walked in the door, yeah.
Aye, and it's I'm 48, and I'm just I don't know. But my years are the best years watching football is that teenage years into your 20s when you're kind of carefree, you've no got worries. And that Walter gave us all that happiness, certainly for our generation. Hello, you still there?
Just wait a minute.
I'm still here, aye.
Just wait a minute, Kenny. We'll bring you in, all right?
I'm sorry. I'm just saying, our generation, he gave us so much happiness over the years and so many great days. And I know you were talking about the victories they had over Celtic and whether it's Helicopter Sundays and everything. I always seem to remember the victories we got over Aberdeen and the important games we would beat Aberdeen, whether it be the kind of league deciders or whether it was cup finals or whatever. But it's just I don't know. I mean, it's kind of fitting that's who we're playing tomorrow. But I know we always seem to have a hex over Celtic and Walter's time. But I was always seemed to be Aberdeen where they just couldn't beat us.
Maybe they ran as close a few years. That's how
well, there's that. But there was so many important games against them, and we always seemed to do it. And it was, I mean.
All right, I'll cut across your travel. We join by Ken.
No, I'll let you go, and I just wanted to pass on them. I mean, what a man!
Mate. Yep, that is. You're correct, mate. What a man. Well said, mate. Evening, Kenny.
How you doing?
Aye, I've had better days, mate. What's on your mind, mate?
Yeah. Aye, I've had better days myself, aye. I'd just like to say just a big thank you to Sir Walter for he's done for us over the years. And it gave me just so much pleasure going up and down the road to watch the games.
Well said.
We travel to Aberdeenshire every second week. Every week, unless for a lot of years. And give me the best days of my life.
Big Stevie. He's on mute. He's doing a bridge. Bridgeman, are you there? On you come, Bridge.
Can I come in on that, aye?
Yes.
Somehow I heard you speaking to me about when they came this week back. And the good old Walter, but he's, to me, best signing.
No, answer the boys' question about the memories for Aberdeen Bridge, yeah?
Aye. And I'm going to do them tomorrow night. So,
memories of Aberdeen?
No, just carry on.
No,
carry on,
for Aberdeenshire.
It's for Aberdeenshire. Carry on, Kenny.
Aye, I'm going to do them tomorrow night, so I just hope that was a good send-off for the guy. Because he deserves everything he's got.
I take it you'll not be getting a lift in one of their buses then, no?
Aye, I've got to drive down tomorrow night. I've got to drive down and go solo.
Fans, will you?
Is somebody got any digs?
All right. Stevie, you're there, mate? And you come, mate. Stevie.
You can hear the emotion there in Kenny's voice, you know. We're all I mean, I try to be positive all day, and then just when I seen Stevie G's interview, it was just woof. That was me, total emotional wreck. You know, it's what Jimmy says, it's what Rangers does to his job, but more so when a proper bear, a right good Rangers man, born a Rangers man, and he never let us down once. The way he acted and conducted himself as a true, a real gentleman, family man, first and foremost, and just as a true bear. We're all just, it's a bad day for the Rangers family. We've lost a right good and guys like yourself, we've all got our memories of him. And I mean, I used to look at the dugout and feel like, no problem, Walter's in there. You know, you used to feel good about, you knew you were coming up against a hard team. You knew Walter will sort that out. Walter will get the best out of the players. But very emotional, Kenny. And you'll be emotional tomorrow driving up and down again tomorrow again, mate. You know, it'll be a right emotional day, night tomorrow night. And let's just hope that we, as Stevie G says, the best tribute we can give a man and his family is getting the 3 points tomorrow.
Aye, definitely.
Kenny, what's your favourite Walter Smith memory, mate?
Aye, with Jack Young in the tunnel.
All right, okay.
Just put his place, like that's it.
Actually, I took the time to watch that today.
I've watched them all the day. I've been through the whole lot. I'm on holiday this week, so I've just been through the whole lot today.
It was very dry, wasn't it? Very, very dry. It was Merlin Chick Young, the way he done it.
Anybody you can Dave Paul Gascoigne is worth a weight in gold, like.
Aye, okay. Right, Kenny.
I'll be doing it tomorrow night to lay a scarf, and I'll be cheering them on.
Good to hear from you. Thanks for taking the time to join us here on Rangers Radio, and thanks for letting us know a bit of your personal memories of Walter.
Keep up a good work, guys. You're brilliant.
Thanks Thanks a lot, Kenny. Speak to you soon, mate. Yeah.
Cheers, guys. See you later.
Good night.
Hi, Linda.
Bridgeman. Oh, who's Bridgeman, are you back with us then? You can come in with your favourite player now.
Oh, excellent, pal, thanks. No, for me, the best signing that Walter ever made, in my opinion, but maybe even the club ever made, was Gaza, without a doubt. Marvellous, what a showman, an absolute showman. And closely followed by Brian Laudrup, I must admit. But Laudrup was excellent. And then, of course, you get Goffey and companies, or people like that. But as far as Walter was concerned, that was massive, getting Gaza. And I don't know whether GB was outside Ibrox when Gaza was getting paraded with his white hair, and he had the same dyed hairstyle. There was hundreds of kids out there with the same hairstyle, just fabulous. Wonderful to see how they all got in with it. And he never disappointed. He was absolutely superb for Rangers, absolutely superb. And so was Walter.
Jimmy, he must have been an impressive guy, because obviously he didn't have that CV in football that says Souness had, or Stevie G's got, yeah? And he was still able to go and attract big stars.
Yeah.
Obviously we were playing top dollar, that always helps, yeah?
Yeah, I think when Souness moved away down to Liverpool with the biggest mistake he ever made, I think it showed that who the real leader at Ibrox was, and I think that was Walter Smith, because I think when he went on today for Rangers showed you what a good manager he was. And that hopefully is the case with Stevie G, but time will tell. But for me, what Walter Smith done tactically, you know, I heard some tributes today, and I think it was Stuart McCall said that a game at half time they were losing 1-0, and he just told them, go and win it, you know you can win it. He told us how we could win it, and we went out and they told us how the other team would play, and he was right. So he was a great tactician. So absolutely fantastic. I mean, bringing players like Laudrup and Gaza to Ibrox was absolutely fantastic, and it was great to be able to see them in their prime. And Walter Smith brought that for us, and that's the joy he gave us. And I think, you know, he should have been given a knighthood before he unfortunately passed, because what a fantastic manager he's been. And he could have been on to greater things if he hadn't been as old as he is. But if he'd have maybe stayed with Rangers instead of moving to Everton, but I think that he had to go at that time. So, but aye, a great tactician, I think, mate. Fantastic tactician.
All right. We've been joined by Linda. Evening, Linda.
Oh, evening, guys. I've just been listening to the show just driving home, so I thought I would just phone in and just pay my respects. And from what I've been listening to, he's have done a really brilliant tribute tonight. It's been great listening to it.
Give us your memories, Linda. Obviously, like myself, you're far too young to remember the first time around, you know.
No, I do remember the 9 in a row era very well. All the trophies that he brought, the great players that played, you know, for the club at that point. And he was always a gentleman, you know, a real Ranger, and that shone through in his first period. But the second period, I thought he did even better there, Rox. I think you touched on that as well, you know, the circumstances, the way that the club was going at that point, the lack of money, and what he did with that group of players was absolutely outstanding. And my favourite time during that was his final season when he won that League Cup. I was praying that he would win something that season, and then the day down at Kilmarnock, I'll never forget that. It was a wonderful, wonderful day.
Aye, it was very fitting. It seems as if it was only yesterday, Linda.
Oh, it does. And as I say, I've been out tonight, but during the day I've been watching probably all of you, the tributes, starting from with Ali McCoist. I really don't know how Ali did that. He did absolutely brilliant. And then what set me off this afternoon was Steven Gerrard. I mean, that was brilliant tribute. It really was.
Do you see similarities in the two men, Gerrard and Walter Smith? You don't meet many people in life, Linda, that are natural leaders, but they too potentially are, eh?
Yeah, natural leaders. And I mean, Steven Gerrard's come in at a difficult time, probably similar to maybe Walter's second spell, and what he took on Stevie G. But I think we always talk about him on the show as in he's real class, isn't he, Ox? And he represents Rangers with real dignity. And that's the similarities I see between the two men. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Jaffa, very fair. These boys kind of work these mute buttons, Linda. It's too much for them. You know, Rudy, it's very fair. A lot of similarities.
Absolutely. You know, Steven Gerrard's still got a lot to prove yet, you know, and I saw him in an interview quite a while back now, and he was sort of, because, you know, it was just after he'd won the league title last season, and he was somebody mentioned him in the same sort of, you know, kind of, you know, mentioned him and Walter Smith in the same sentence, and Stevie G said, fair play to Stevie G, he said, let me stop you right there. You can't mention me in the same sentence as a legend like Walter Smith, so that tells you exactly what Stevie G thinks of him. But I don't doubt that Steven Gerrard's got what it takes to be successful. Maybe no, he will not be there as long as Walter Smith was, but certainly he's got all the attributes going forward. Docs, he's a young man, he's learning his job. Linda made a really good point there. It's very similar. If Stevie G came into Rangers, we were a mess. He's had to turn it in all right. It's took him 3 years and a few transfer windows, but if you look at the amount of players that's gone in and gone out and come in and all that, he's done a fantastic job, Stevie G, and hopefully he goes on. He's got a couple of cups to go, a couple of bits of silverware that he needs to try and pick up this season if possible. But I'd forgo anything just to get that league title again this season, Ox, you know. And yeah, I think he's like a young Walter Smith.
All right, that's some tribute.
Jeff, can I just nip in a wee minute because I have to go?
To Jaffa. Are you going to go, JFK?
I've got to go and pick a wife up for work. Just like you say before I go.
A taxi.
Aye, I know it's like up in here now. Just before I go, I'd just like to say what a fantastic show it's been tonight, guys. Tribute to the great Walter, and it's been a joy to take part in it. And I just, it's sad. So thanks very much, Ox, Terry and background and all other guys and gals that contributed, and I'll speak to you all very soon. Okay, cheers, guys.
And you come, Jaffa.
Hey, Jimmy.
And you come, Jaffa.
Yeah. Sorry about the mute there, Ox. Apologies, mate.
Yeah. We'll put you in a course with the
bridge. just to echo what Linda was saying there, and to Rudy, he just oozes. You know, all the ex-players today, the former his former players, saying when he walked in the room, the presence that he had, the aura. There's not many guys or ladies acquire that kind of je ne sais quoi, and Walter had that, and Stevie G does have that, and he was just a brilliant Ranger. He represented us with absolute class, and Steven Gerrard does that in abundance for me, and that's what I love about the similarities between the two of them. Much different profiles, but yeah, there's definitely similarities there.
Bridge, and you come, mate?
I was just going to say I agree with what Jimmy was saying. It's been a fantastic show. I just wanted to say thank you for putting it on, and I think there's an awful lot of Bears all over the world have really enjoyed it, and it's been absolutely tremendous, and it's been an absolute pleasure to say what I think about Walter Smith. I'm sure he's got a lot of things he could say about me as well, but you know what I mean. But it wouldn't be as nice as what I could say about him. That's for sure.
We would rather know it done it if the truth been on. But we felt we had to, and I think we the right. Look, there's no one right or wrong thing with dealing with these things, Big Stevie. But you can only do what you think's fitting at the time, yeah.
Aye, that's it. I mean, yeah. Listen, Walter would have wanted us to go on, mate. That's it. You know what? Look, we've done the right thing in my eyes. The show's been excellent tonight. Hearing everybody's opinion, we're all Bears together, and just let's hope tomorrow night the boys can do the damage, and we're very emotional.
Talking about tomorrow night. Thanks for that message, Fox. If anybody wants to read it, it's in the lobby. Talking about tomorrow night, Rangers Radio will be laying a leaf in tribute to Walter Smith, but a legend Bridgeman will be leading the party for the show as we mark our respects for all our listeners and we appreciate and know everybody who would like to will be able to get to the stadium in the next few days. So that relief will be relayed in respect to Walter, but from all the Rangers Radio listeners all over the world.
Here.
Lovely,
Yeah.
well done.
Bridgeman, you might need to get your suit at the cleaners, son.
Along with my shoes.
You'll be looking for somebody to pay for it first.
I think it's £2 he's charging for a 40 with a wreath and £5 it's him and the wreath, you know.
I'm sure there's a few on this show will be able to assist me and help me out my hour of need.
I think Fox needs help took these hour of need, but that's another subject. Right, we're going to go into 10:15 because I think it's only right that we also discuss tomorrow night's game. Stevie, you were a man that was meant to be on the show tonight. It's a big game and let's win it for Walter. Eh?
Definitely. Well, the gaffer said it, and hopefully the players have had the bit between the teeth. They know what's going on and all. They showed a lovely mark of respect today at training or in the semicircle, all the staff, every single one of them. So they all know what it's about tomorrow night, and let's hope they go out there and do the damage. 100% Ox, yes.
Yeah. And as Travel Rock said, Rudy, Aberdeen, traditionally a big game, obviously they're in a relegation battle.
Aye, and I think if any of the sort of newer players at the club that might only have showed up in the last season or two had any doubts about how big a game this is going to be tomorrow night, I'm sure the likes of Alan McGregor and Stephen Davis will have them told in the dressing room what it means to go out there tomorrow night and get the 3 points by hook or by crook, but hopefully putting on a good show. It's traditionally a hard game against Aberdeen, let's face it. They don't always make it that easy for us, Ox. But a packed Ibrox, there should be absolutely no reason why we can't come away with the 3 points tomorrow night. And it's, as many of the guys have already said, it would be a fitting tribute, not just to Walter, but to Walter's family as well.
You hear? Linda, I'd take the same results as last season. At home to Aberdeen, that'll do me.
Yeah, and I think when Stephen Gerrard was asked about it today, they didn't talk about the game very much, Ox, but he just said that the biggest tribute they can pay Walter Smith is to go out and put a performance on. The fans, everybody's going to be united and get the win. But it is going to be very emotional tomorrow night. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But I just hope that we get the win. Not too bothered about the performance. If we get the 3 points, it'll be a fitting tribute to Walter Smith.
Aye. He would want us to go in there and win the game, Jaffa.
Yeah, he absolutely will, and he's still got some of the players, as Rudy mentioned earlier, Stephen Davis and Alan McGregor. A lot of their early parts of their career was played under Walter Smith. So I think we'll be right up for it tomorrow night, Ox, and I'm expecting us to put a performance in tomorrow night. I think the players will be willing to do that, and so will Stephen Gerrard wanting that.
GB, big 3 points. We need to keep winning, yeah?
Need to keep it moving, Ox. I think the impact you see in Stephen Gerrard's interview of the day, there's been... I've no doubt that Walter Smith's had that same impact with some of the squad that's been there that length of time as well. So I'm sure they're going to be fired right up for tomorrow night to again pay tribute to him and his family, mate.
I think it's only right at this time we find out that the team's not going to be tomorrow night, Southside.
Aye, it's easy. It's easy. I'll go with Andy Firth in goal. How's that?
I'm sure when I looked today, Kilmarnock celebrations for 2011, Andy Firth was in the pictures.
All right, you want me to give a team for tomorrow? Right, I'll go for McGregor coming back in. Tav, Golson, Balogun, Borna. I think Kamara will come back. Lundstrom and Aribo. And up front, Alfie through the middle, Roof and Hadji. I thought I had you.
One change, then. One change.
Yep.
Stevie Davis, yeah?
Davison changing the goalkeeper.
Okay, I can. Okay, all right, that'll be interesting to see. Number 57 for you. We'll see how you get on tomorrow.
Aye. I think you should ask somebody else their team in.
All right, okay. Bridges never got it right in 257, but we'll go to Bridge. Well,
Stephen Gerrard keeps changing his mind. Every time I make a suggestion, he's not interested. He just throws it away.
It's because he listens in, Bridge.
He listens to the show, Bridge, and he changes.
I'm saying that, and as soon as he hears Manchester, I'm not playing that, just for badness. I'm not playing them. Brilliant. Actually, I agree with Southside. I think it's not a bad team. Not a bad team, Southside. I'll go with that.
That's the kiss of death, Southside. No, sorry, no pun intended there, but...
Bridge, that'll be the team tomorrow. That's spot on, mate.
I'll not be far away from that anyway. Let's be honest.
How do you see us lining up, Linda?
I'll just go with the same team as Southside as well.
Go on yourself. Right,
jump the bandwagon, and I'm going for an Alfie double tomorrow night and a 2-0 win.
Oh, nice one.
Really better than Jaffa with our teams.
Yeah, I think I'll just make it a clean sweep. I'm going to be Southside as well. I think that's the team.
You're very popular on night, Southside.
What can I say? Knowledge is everything. Mate.
Knowledge is everything.
I'm going with Southside. There's a phrase I never thought I'd hear you say.
Strange times.
Trouble Rock, aye, you know.
I'll go with it as well. Sounds good to me. I think he will. I think he will drop Davis out and put Kamara in. I actually did think that. I thought he'll freshen it up. Yeah, looks good to me. I think it's a good shout. McGregor back in goals.
All right, okay.
Just wow.
Right, GB.
You'll know there.
Greg. No. Yeah, I'm with you. Greg Kamara out, Davis in.
Oh, no, the pressure zone.
Right, I'll go to the voice of reason. The brains of Rangers Radio. Big Stevie.
I'm going to go with you as well. I'm going with Southside. Yep, Davis.
Very good.
Full house.
You think that they've no imagination. This mob Southside there.
I told you, knowledge is everything, mate. Knowledge is, and I'm sure they're all intelligent people that's on the night. And Jimmy would have went the same if he'd hung on. Jimmy would have picked the same team and all.
Jimmy called a lot of things.
Jimmy would have sided, mate. Jimmy would have went to the same team, mate.
I'll go back to my original point. Jimmy called a lot of things, but never intelligent. Right, okay. How's the score going to go tomorrow night for you, Big Stevie?
I'm going to go for 2-0.
2-0, yeah. 2-0. Jaffa.
3-0.
3-0.
3-0.
GB.
3-1.
3-1. Okay. I'm not even asking you, Bridgeman.
Yes, put my name down. Put my name down for a different score tonight. I'm going for a different score tonight.
Well, I'll not tell people what, but we sorted out that baby sham today just to let you know. Yeah.
Okay, I'll just keep it at 1-9. I'll go for 1-9.
All right. Okay. All right. And what did you go for, Linda? Did you go for 2 as well?
Yeah, two with an Alfie double.
An Alfie double. Rudy Bear, what did you go for?
I'm going for a 3-1, Ox. 3-1.
3-1. You can never go. Oh, dear.
Yeah. Couple for Alfie and a roof. Goal for roof.
All right, okay. I would hopefully we get the same scores as we got last year against them. There you go.
Aye, take that.
I'll take it all the time.
Take that.
But we'll see. Obviously, they'll be fired up as they always are to play us Southside.
Aye, they'll come down the usual, win it up. They'll try like mad tomorrow night. But once we get the emotion out of the road, mate, we get the kick off. Hopefully, just get steamed right into them. I thought the performance the other night was pretty against St Mirren was pretty poor, to be honest. So hoping that we'll get a better performance. But mate, I'll go for a sneaky 4-0.
I think GB's going to leave us. GB, in you come, mate. He's got to go and do his bit. Get the bottle out.
Yeah, that's it. Go and prep the bottle machine and get this wee man fed. He's starting to shake his wee head left, right and centre looking for something. So appreciate the time tonight, Ox, on the show. It's a great tribute you've done for him. And what I say is I'm sure the boys will go out there and give us a smashing result tomorrow night.
Take care, mate. Speak to you soon.
GB, son. Catch you later. Cheers, GB. Cheers.
Bye, Gary.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
Oh.
Aye. 4-0 Southside. I'm impressed with that.
How no, mate? You know, the defence is rotten, innit? I know.
That bridge, you've copied all the rest of his homework. Oh dear. All right. Aye, it'll be a night full of emotion, and hopefully, people for a certain club will be able to conduct ourselves with a bit of dignity and show a mark of respect for a true legend, and not just our club, but Scottish football, Linda.
Yeah, and I think you can see that with all the tributes today, Ox, isn't it? From right across Scotland and out with Scotland too. You know, managers, football clubs, you know, all paying tribute. So yeah, you would expect that tomorrow night, and yeah, as I said earlier, it will be emotional for all of us. And if the team can go out and put on even a performance as well as getting the result, you know, it will be a fitting tribute. But yeah, certainly he deserves that, absolutely.
Yeah. But I think I'm not being flippant when I say this. I think Walter would demand Stevie is the 3 points, yeah?
Oh, 100%. I think it's been said so many times tonight. Walter was a winner. And he would be demanding, especially against the Sheep. You know, he knows what it's all about. So, he would. Can I ask a wee question? I know there's a lot of Aldrins, but I know there's a lot of Aldrins on the panel tonight. How many used the Walter Smith cardigan?
Me. I think I'll go to the older ones first. Rudy Bear then.
Right, you. No, Stevie, I've never owned a Walter Smith cardigan, no.
Bridgman. Yeah, Bridgman.
Yes.
Yeah. Aye, okay. I definitely know that Southside did one.
Still got it.
He might have. Linda, Stitch one, Peril one.
No, but my dad did.
I was a bit of a trendsetter like Stevie G in his time, really, wasn't he? Standing at his side with that cardigan. Sometimes it was Baltic. The game seems to have fallen into a wee bit of insignificance tonight. I think the days took the wind out of ourselves today, Stevie.
Aye, 100% Ox. You know, I asked that wee cheeky question there because there was a couple of old guys up my local hall. They used to dress like him, you know, and you're totally right, a trendsetter just as well as a good human being. But that was the lucky cardigans. They always wore it when the Rangers were playing. Aye.
I've got a pair of undercrackers like that, Stevie.
You wore during the war?
Under what?
Still wear them.
They've got stabbed in the back, and I'm not talking about his part here. I think we've been joined by Gaz. Evening, Gaz.
How you doing, mate? It's Wheels.
Oh, sorry,
time.
Wheels. How you doing, mate?
Long time no speak.
All
right, Wheels. You well?
How we doing, guys?
Hi, Wheels.
It's just a quick one, guys.
Yeah.
Obviously, I know I've not spoken to you in a long time, but
you're always welcome
today,
on here. You know that.
Yeah. Today, obviously, you know, a very sad day. I was lucky enough to meet the man about 25 years ago, and I've got a framed picture on my wall. So I'm always going to have that memory. I'm always going to have him with me. And I just know that the Rangers family, and I know for a fact tomorrow, are going to drive us through. The emotion alone will be enough to drive us through tomorrow and get the result we need. And it's, as Stevie said today, that's the biggest tribute we can pay the man.
Win it for Walter. Win it for Walter.
That's it. And I mean, so obviously I've seen a number of tributes, and someone said it today, couldn't have said it better themselves. Legend is thrown about a lot, but Walter is bigger than that. There isn't a word that you can put on Walter that is big enough for the man. I
think James McFadden said that.
I think it was I.
He said he's not a legend, right. He's above a legend, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. There's not a word that you can place on the man, and it's just, it's a really, really sad day, and I just really hope we do it for him tomorrow.
Well said, young man. Good to hear from you. And don't you be a stranger, yeah?
No, absolutely no. I'll be getting in touch more. I've obviously yourself previously had a few health things, and that things are better now. So I'll certainly be getting in touch more regular now. So
you go on here, we'll make you welcome as usual. You know what that means, don't you?
Absolutely, you always do.
All right, you look after yourself, Wheels, yeah?
All right. You too. Cheers, guys. Nice to speak to you again.
Hey, Wheels. Good night, mate.
See you, pal.
Well, young Wheels there, last caller of the night. I'm just going to get in these and just sum up, and then obviously Bridgeman will shut the show as normal. We'll start with Linda. Ladies first.
Yeah, a very emotional day, Ox, and it's been a great show that you guys have put on tonight. Just rest in peace, Walter. We will miss you.
Jaffa.
Yeah, thanks for having us on, Ox. I appreciate it a lot. And sadly missed a great man, a great Ranger, a real leader of men, and they're few and far between.
Yeah. Rudy Bear.
Aye, Walter. He'll be greatly missed. Modern day history of Rangers, greatest ever manager in my opinion, Ox. So rest easy, Gaffer.
Southside. Southside. Big Stevie. Oh. Right, we'll go with the bridge to wrap up. Bridgeman.
Well, what can I say? It's been, I said earlier, fantastic night. Well done, Oxchair, and well done to the techie team for keeping up with the pace of the number of calls that were coming in. That's quite remarkable. So well done to everybody, and beautiful music selected. Loved it. And can I just say, really and truly, that phrase that sometimes it's done in a sort of comical manner. Walter, miss you already. So to all the Rangers fans all over the world, listening here tonight, keep it going for Walter, because it's Walter we need. Keep it going.
The Rangers Radio family, as well as the Rangers family, would like to thank the fans, other clubs, players and staff who have paid their respects to our Walter Smith, who's gone but will never be forgotten. Thanks for listening. Stay safe. Get along to the stadium tomorrow if you can to pay your tributes to Walter Smith, and win it for Walter. Take it away, Fox.
One magical moment when the whole world stops to shine. One magical moment, that day we got the line. And it's more than a game we are playing. And it's more than a name game.